What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the BurlyFishing podcast. We are live today. We do have Paul. Paul is alive. Paul is here, and he is communicating from beyond the grave via his phone. Paul, how you doing?
I can say stuff. I have a gigantic computer set up in front of me with like tons of things and stuff and equipment, and it's all useless. So I've got a cell phone, so that's nice.
Paul has an epic setup, and he is resorting to his cell phone right now because his Discord is not doing its job, unfortunately. But hey, today, guys, we're going to be talking about fall. How are we going to handle fall, especially us guys up here in Michigan? Fall can be like real tough times. It can be good for about 2 weeks, and then basically it turns off for, say, several months. And we kind of got to wait for the ice to come in before we can do ice fishing and stuff. So we're gonna talk about upcoming plans, maybe some projects, maybe things that we're gonna be doing to preoccupy ourselves to survive this season. And maybe you guys are feeling the same way. Maybe you're experiencing some fall transition. Fish are not easy to catch right now, and you're trying to figure out what to do. How do you stay a fisherman in the off season? So hopefully we can address some of those issues. Also, we want to hear from you guys today. Want to really communicate with you guys. Let us know throughout the episode things that you'd like to see us do during this season, including the winter. I mean, we're talking a little bit fall today, but I want to know winter projects as well. Give me some ideas. What do you want to see on the channel? What do you want to hear on the podcast? And we'll work it into the schedule, man. We'll make it happen. So feel free to hit us up in chat. It's also a super chat feature. And a little spoiler alert, I got a little box to my right. I can give you a little preview of an upcoming unboxing on the channel. I'll be dropping next week, but I got some gear. Might as well show you guys on the episode. So we're gonna play it loose and fast today, but feel free to hang out with us. Grab your dad pops, your mom pops, or your regular pops if you're not of drinking age, and just hang out with us for an hour or so here as we chat. Be sure also to subscribe to the channel on YouTube. You can also subscribe to the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts, and then follow us on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all those other places. But without further ado, Paul, you want to jump into the show notes, or you want me to, bro?
I got you. So the episode question for this week. This is one. I'm surprised this hasn't come up before. So the question for this week is: what is the hardest mistake to watch someone else make on the water?
What is the hardest mistake to watch someone else make on the water? Okay.
I'll give you an example.
Yep. You go first.
Have you ever... this is an example. I'm not saying this is a hard
This isn't your answer.
This is a good one, though.
Okay.
Have you ever watched someone with a spin reel use their offhand to hold the line, like pin it to the to the rod, and then like huck it with both hands, and like they're flourishing like the line as it like leaves, like they give it like this big flourish, and they're like, look what I did.
Is that like fly fishing with a spinning reel?
This is like fly fishing with the reel upside down.
Oh, even better.
And where you retrieve like with the reel.
I would say I've definitely seen that, or I've seen holding.
I'd say that's an example.
No, that's good. That's good. I would say like when you see somebody holding just their combo in the wrong way, right? Like spinning combo, they're holding it like way below the reel, so there's nothing over the reel seat. That bothers me.
You're gonna set the hook like with like the limpest wrist of all time.
Just lift all the way up.
I can tell you, but I thought about this a little bit. So here's my answer. Let me see how people feel about this.
Okay.
Using a clip swivel to attach crankbaits.
I wonder if some people really like doing that.
Everyone likes doing that. It's very convenient for switching baits
no time.
24 seconds. It is absolutely not a good idea.
Fair. I would say fair. So that's a good one. I would say, So Rashaya John says, wouldn't you use a loop knot? You silly people.
Any knot's fine. not a swivel.
Right. Well, yeah, he's just saying like the swivel. Some people use that to mimic like a loop knot, but also to not tie knots. And guess what, guys? Guess who did that in the beginning? This dude right here was doing it all the time. I was like, I don't want to tie knots. Tying knots is for losers. And then, man, did I learn some lessons. I'll
Part
tell you
one.
it. Yeah, it's very important to tie some knots. That is a fact. All right. So mistake, gosh, that I see. I mean, probably just like where they're either like how they're casting or where they're fishing, I would say. So when Paul and I were fishing this weekend, and if you guys haven't seen that, part 1 and 2 are up already. They're on the channel. So just go back and watch that after you hang out with us tonight. But you can watch part 1 and 2 where we slammed the MTB Monster Bass in 6 cents boxes, right? 6 cents from an upcoming unboxing, by the way. A little preview. We Tarantino'd it a little bit, but we were rolling up this channel and there's people just casting wherever where there weren't fish and getting tangled up and just kind of like asking us questions as we rolled through, like how'd you guys do? We're like, oh, we did pretty good, caught a bunch of fish. You're like, wait, we haven't caught anything. Are there fish in here? I often hear on that lake, it's like, are there even fish in here? I didn't even know that. And it's just because they're not casting in the right spots. They're not casting where the fish are. They're just like, they were in a channel. The fish were pushed up on the edges, like up in the weeds is where Paul and I lived all weekend. And they were just casting in the middle of the channel and just letting it sit. And there's no fish sitting there. So like, you're going to see that like bank fishing as well, or they're throwing the wrong lure in the wrong spot. So I'd say something that obviously takes some experience, some learning from maybe watching some other YouTube channels or, reading like In Fisherman or educating themselves with Bass University or doing something rather than just being like, I got a fishing pole, I got worms. Like, yeah, I mean, you probably should see some success, but you can definitely level up your opportunity of success by putting it in the right place, right? Or using the correct lure and the right output. So yeah, I would say that's one for me. And if I have the time, which I try to make the time, I'll try to like throw them some tips or do something. I'll be like, hey, put it there. And like Paul's probably most notorious for this. He does it to me all the time, just so he can tell me that he called it, like literally every time. He's like, oh, bro, spitter baits right there. And I'll be like, well, I have one on. And then I cast it there and then I catch a fish. And then what does Paul say? Called it. This is Paul like all weekend. It's probably in the video like 3-4 times.
That's the only thing I ever want to happen.
You live for that.
Fish. If I could do that 10 times, I'd be totally fine.
You've done that on several trips.
I'll
call them all. I'm a guide today.
Oh, dude, I don't even care. I would. So I think my other pet peeve is when I see people who, and this is like nitpicky BS, right? Like it depends on the person. If you've like never fished before, like I don't care what you do. Everything you're doing is great. If you're somebody who's like, I'm great at fishing, I fish all the time, and then you roll up and you cannot adjust your drag like in real time. Holy I know I've seen dudes that have the drag set to like 1 out of 12, and they'll hook into a 0.1 pound bass or whatever, like brah, and you're like, hey guys, pump the brakes, turn up the drag there, and then they
literally the brakes.
Exactly, and then they'll be like, oh, I see now. Yeah, there's a couple things you should probably you gotta figure out. So I think those are my biggest two: the swivel clip full time, and and then not being able to manage your drag. When I see people do that, I just get like it makes me want to go full dad and walk over and explain what should be happening.
Which you got to pick and choose the scenario, right? Because you never know if they're just gonna be like, dude, screw off, get out of here. Right, or if they're actually going to like listen to you.
I will let a stranger go ahead and make all the mistakes they want. But like if you were with me and you were like, bro, did you know you could just use a swivel clip all day? I'd be like, well, you could.
Then you would flip my boat.
Or you could just swallow that swim bait. One of the two.
Why don't you just hook yourself and get out of here?
All right,
Yeah,
so
I
those are
mean,
my two. Those are my two. Do you want to hit them with the check-in? Do we want? I mean, you already kind of talked about what the week was.
well, all right. So guess what, guys? Here's the check-in. Go watch the last two videos.
Yeah. So done and dusted. That was
This
easy.
is the fastest check-in we've ever done. If you guys want to know
Actually,
exactly what we did the past week, it is the last two videos on YouTube.
I
Check.
so here's one though. So this week, big milestone for the year. Today is, as of this recording, so I guess yesterday will be October 1st. And that means that for a lot of people who don't just only fish, that's the boat opener for deer season for like the entirety of the Midwest for the most part. So there's probably a lot of people who are swapping out like 7-foot cranking rods for a bow. So I just wanted to call that out. This is one of those things, and this is kind of actually why fall projects was like one of my deals, because a lot of people start investing like their Saturdays and Sundays in this, and it's like fishing gets like relegated to like big trips for like salmon or walleye or whatever.
Mhm.
At least for like the top, I don't know, northeast part of the country.
Yeah, good point. Not for me and some fishermen, but agreed. And I would also say fall smallie runs. Like I want to be wading the rivers right now for
Yes.
smallies. And in fact, that's what I'm going to do tomorrow, possibly this weekend. I don't know what Paul and I are going to get up to, if we're going to get up to anything, but I'm at least going to wade the river and try and hunt some fall smallies. I'm going to have some fun with that. We're going to figure some stuff out, huh? Are we fishing this weekend?
Oh, I
What do
don't.
we
You
do?
know what? I don't know. I don't know because
Let's decide right here, and then let's figure out our spot right here on live.
You never gonna happen. You can't see my face. You can't see my face, but I'm like very perplexed because there are only 2 days in the weekend, which is unfortunate, and I work all the other days of the week.
Facts.
And what gets difficult, this is why we're having this episode. So for me, like being in Michigan, a lot of people will say it's unfortunate because it's about to get hella cold, but I feel very fortunate because right now is like the best time of year. It's crisp in the morning, it's warm during the day. There's not usually like a ton of rain. Uh, you don't really get a ton of super windy days until it gets to be like mid-November, and you got bow season, you got squirrel season, you've got bass fishing. The smallmouth fishing can just be stupid. I mean,
Yep.
like watch the videos. The bass fishing can be crazy. You also get ridiculous salmon runs, and then the walleye
Mhm.
fishing is like outstanding. Good luck trying to figure out what you're going to do for the weekend. Like, good luck.
It's a roulette wheel, man. That's what I'm saying.
Whatever
Is
you
like,
choose, you will simultaneously make the best choice and the worst choice. There's no getting around it.
well, all right. So we spin a roulette wheel. We pick one. If it's a hunting thing, I'll be camera guy Jeff. If it's a fishing thing,
Ooh.
you're camera guy Paul.
Dude,
What's that?
if you want to watch me like hustle my butt through the woods and then end up
Yeah,
freaking blowing away a deer, that would be ideal.
that would be pretty fun.
That'd be freaking sick. But anyways, I would like to know. We already asked a couple of questions. I would like to know, if you're not fishing, what are you doing? So a lot of people also, even if the weather just isn't super great, let's say you got to put your boat away, whatever it happens to be. If you're not going to be fishing, like what do you have planned? If it's December and you don't want to go out into like the slimy humidity of the South in 50 degrees in December and have a miserable time, if that's not your idea of bass fishing, what are you doing? If you're on the East Coast and it rains every single second of every day and you're not going out in that, what are you doing? If you're in the Midwest and you don't have ice yet and the salmon runs over, like what are you doing? So I would love to know what you guys have planned. What is your, I'm using air quotes, off season look like? And then other than that, is there anything that you'd like to see? So one of the things that I really like to do that's on my list is I want to do some jig tying. And I don't want to do
Mhm.
like the standard jig tying that like a lot of people do. I want to like infuse some of the fly tying materials that like a lot of people don't get to see. And
Mm.
we talked about rabbit baits a couple of different times. What makes rabbit baits really cool? Yes, not everyone loves that they're ultra soft plastic that's meant to have a ton of action because they just get slaughtered. I get that. But they have a ton of action. So if your goal is to catch fish, It's a great way to do it. They also have fur. I think it's rabbit fur inside. I think it's fox actually inside the plastic, and that gives it a totally different look in the water. Jigs on their own, they look great. They're super durable. They look awesome. I'm talking about like a skirted jig. We did a whole episode on these. I'm gonna be tying up some super light and some super heavy jigs, and I want to do some weedless, and I want to do some like shaky head style. And what I want to do is I want to tie them up with not just rubber. I do want to put some rubber in there, but I want to put some like craft fur, which is like this big, bulky, like really thick fur material. Super, super bright color, super, super durable. And I'm just going to super glue the crap out of it. And I want to see how it works compared to like my standard skirted jigs. So that's one of the big ones that I want to do this winter. I actually have my whole kit like right on my desk right now. You can't see it because my camera's not on, but it's been here for like literally 2 months, and it's been on my list. But that's one of the things I really want to get knocked out like as we get into like late fall. So that's one for me. And if anyone wants to see that, let me know, because some people are just probably like, I don't care. I'm gonna buy mine from the store. I don't really care.
No, agreed. Hey, Heather's here. Hi, Heather. And she just got off of IG with Ricky over at MB.
Yeah.
So shout out to Monster Bass channel and
Welcome.
Rick going live. He's like clockwork. He goes right before us. He's our warm-up show.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like every time I go to get on, I'm like, oh hey, Rick was on and just talking about blah blah blah.
I don't know what he's talking. He just pulls people on. I love it. We might have to do an IG live one day and just do that. Maybe that's what we should do. Somebody said you should do a live while you're camping. I was like, dude, we should just do.
I saw that
an IG live.
Yeah, like a half hour.
Then maybe we could pull people on. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let me know what you think. Jonathan Wu says, dude, the clam shad was legit.
Oh god. You know what?
You better believe I left that in.
You are right. It was.
It caught fish. It got bit off 1,000 times.
I don't care what that thing looks like. I don't care how like promiscuous you feel tying it on. It was fantastic, and it worked so well. Like the second I put that on, we actually had a dead spot like right before that.
Oh, we were actually a long day. It was like 4 hours or so.
We were in like the no fish zone for a little while. I tied the sucker on, and I had a follow first cast, had a follow, pulled the bait halfway off, and then like not even a couple minutes later, jacked one.
Yep.
And that was like one of the better fish of the day. That thing is legit. It does look super different too. It's like a little spaceship like coasting through the water.
There you go. Spaceship.
Do you have it in front of you? You only have the one. Do you have it with you right now?
No.
That's my only gripe. You only get 3, so that sucks. In the box, but it was actually good bait, and it does not look good. I remember tying it on. Being like, I don't know where I'm going to use this. I don't know how I'm going to use this. I don't know what it's going to catch my drift.
It kind of it definitely like matched though the pattern for the day, which was black and blue. Blue. Like darker colors and black and blue were just killing it. Everything was getting bit if it was black and blue. And some of the like darker reds and oranges too, but yeah, it just
black and blue was definitely the killer.
Black and blue was the killer. I had the black and blue craw from Monster Bass, the River to Sea Mad Yabby. That was getting bit too much. It was just getting swallowed, which I figured out, by the way. So if you guys saw in the video, I got like 7 lures bit off. Figured it out because after Paul left, I fished that back pocket that we were at, the little pond section, which is where I lost all of the lures except for one. The 6 cents lipless was lost elsewhere, sadly. But most of the lures were lost in that back pocket. And I was just like running the VMC underspin again and getting just hammered. Just getting wrecked on that thing. I was catching a ton of fish, got a few pike, got a few bass, got a decent like 2.5 pounder, but I saw what they were doing. So the water's so clear. I saw these pike just shooting out of the weeds, and they didn't care what they swiped at. They were just so aggressive. They were completely missing the bait. They'd either whiff on it and just rip my tail off, or they would bite the head of the lure, which is where the line is. So I'm pretty sure what happened is they weren't swallowing it even. They were just reacting aggressively, and they were biting through 30-pound braid and just being complete jerks. Just like
Right.
bait after bait after bait was lost. And there's no way you could find them because it wasn't a hard bottom. It's like mucky, matted grass. So as soon as the bait got bit off, it hit the bottom and it was instantly buried under 3 feet of silt. Like, there's no way. Because I went back and looked. I couldn't find it. It's super clear water, but you could not find anything in that water. There's no way.
So here's another thing about that video that in rewatching it, I wasn't there when you lost the 6th Sense lipless.
Yeah. Did you see the fish shaking it?
Yes, you lost. So here, you want to know something crazy? Remember when I lost the jerkbait, which they haven't seen yet because that's maybe part 2 or 3.
Huge jerkbait, by the way. No, that's it wasn't in part 2. I missed that. Shoot. So yeah, Paul had a gigantic jerkbait on, and it got bit off.
Deleted. So, I mean, it got deleted. So you know what the crazy part about that is? I was looking at where you lost the 6th Sense lipless because again, I hadn't seen this. It was within like 5 yards of where I got bit off, where the jerkbait was.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. There was the pike were out. I mean, it's getting into pike season, pike territory there too. And they're all little, like they're like juvenile pike, and they're just so aggressive, and they were just swiping. They didn't care. They just wanted to murder everything near their face.
I love it.
So basically, like, it wasn't just me losing lures. At first, I was getting so self-conscious about it. And I think it's just I was fishing maybe slower because I had like the jig, the underspin, the head, like the lighter plastics. And I don't know, maybe I don't know if that's true, but like I was fishing it just fast enough that they were able to just swipe and cut the line. And I was just getting wrecked. But then you lost a few too, and I was like, oh, I feel better. At least Paul's losing baits too. I
like it.
Dude, it was absolutely freaking nuts. Oh, Heather says she usually loses lures to turtles, which is the other culprit. There's so many snapping turtles in that water. I was like, dude, I bet it's snappers. I bet they're just like sitting there and they just lunge at that line when it comes across their face, which is, I mean, possible. Probably a few of them went to them too.
No, 100%. And I saw the shadow of one that looked like a goddamn boat down there.
Yeah, like the one you saw was probably like, I don't know, would you say 3 feet wide? Like,
I don't know,
gigantic.
It wasn't 3 feet, but like legit, that thing.
It was huge.
That thing was definitely from face to tail. That thing for sure, bare minimum was 2 feet, and that's being conservative. It was huge.
Yeah. Well, when I said, Paul, how big was that turtle? You did this.
Yeah, I did the arm.
This is 6 feet, bro. I was like, disagree.
Disagree, but potentially close to large.
But huge.
So, all right. So this is a great transition, though. So one of the things I really wanted to talk about was what to do. First of all, when is fall transition? Because it's not the same everywhere. And two, what do you do when it becomes fall from like a fish's perspective? So for me, when I see water hit like below 70, I'm already starting to think, I'm starting to like go to my like quiver of like fall baits. I'm immediately moving away from all like anything I was using in August or September. I'm like, moving on. Like I'm ready to put them away. It's
how many? Let me ask you this: how many hollow body frogs are you throwing right now?
They're at like legit 0.
Hey, guess how many I got in my Warrior Tackle Supply Pro box?
Get the front door.
3.
Okay, before we get to that, which I think is fine, and I have a comment to make about that. We're gonna get there. I want to.
We're gonna get there.
But let me talk fall. So, for me, there's nothing wrong with top water. It's just a totally different approach to top water. And honestly, I'm like 60 to. Okay, so if I'm a fish, depending on where I'm at, once we get below 70, I'm starting to think about reaching for that quiver of fall baits. Once we hit like 60 or less, or like 65 to 55 to 65, I'm 1,000% in. Everything else is put away. Everything else is put away. It's my fall baits, and I'm working from the top down. And by top down, I mean top of the water column down to the bottom of the water column. Just because, and this is just a general rule, but it really does resonate. Fish are feeding up, which means they're hanging low and they're looking upwards to feed, because what they're really looking for is bait fish, high protein meals. So that means like if you're looking for worms, it's going to be big worms. If you're looking for bait fish, they're going to be big wounded bait fish. That means on top, I'm thinking like hands down buzzbait. I wrote an article about it. Buzzbait.
Yep. They're calling it out in chat right now. BJ Manny says spooks and buzzbaits. Somebody else. Oh, Fishing the Southeast said spooks already. So yeah, you guys are on it.
Yeah, my stick bait's gonna get. It's weird because the buzzbait gets like super hyper aggressive, but my game on the rest of topwater, like hollow body stick baits, goes almost to the point of being like subtly aggressive. Like I'm looking for spooks for like stick baits 100%, like the Patriot, that 2.0 that we got in the Monster Bass box. I'm upset that I didn't get one that was like black and blue. I have a white, which is like my second choice, but I wanted something dark. So those are like my top two top waters. For sure. I might have to.
So Jonathan Wu here says he's gonna throw an A rig, wait for it, with 5 clam shads on it.
Yeah, you can't throw the whole strip club and just expect that someone's gonna choose that. All right, that might be a little.
No, they can't resist. Make sure they're black and blue. All right, Jonathan Wu, make sure they're black and blue, and let me know how it goes. I love it. I love the idea. I can't wait to see what happens. Please record.
This is gonna turn into that. What was the double? Is it the double wacky rig? This is gonna become.
The double. No, I don't know if you're in this chat person who said this before. Somebody did this, but who was it? All right, so Fishing the Southeast mentioned the live target bait ball spinnerbait, and it just got me thinking about the lipless bait ball and how somebody said take an A-rig and attach 5 of those.
And you would literally
5 lipless.
A shimmering.
You guys are counting at home. That is 10 treble hooks. That is 10 treble hooks. That looks like essentially 100 bait fish and 10 treble hooks.
A shimmering sea of bait fish, without a doubt. I love it. You can't miss. I mean, you could literally.
No, you better not miss.
You're dredging at that point.
Oh, you're not going to miss a single thing in the entire body of water. You're going to dredge up like boots and license plates and, snapping turtles and all sorts of nonsense. Some dude that was just swimming.
You will probably reel in yourself.
Yourself? Yeah. Good luck untangling a fish from that mess.
That's what I'm saying.
Think about a jerk bait. Think about the big jerk baits with just 3 treble hooks. You got 10 on an A-rig. You are toast. You are done.
So that's what I mean by top down. That's my top water. And this is not every bait that will work. I just want to be clear. These are just like my go-tos. This is like when that switch flip, because I asked Jeff when he called me to tell me he caught a 5-pounder. By the way, that's in the video. When he calls me and he tells me that, what was like one of my first questions? Was what's the temp?
Oh yeah. What's the temp? What'd you throw? What rod setup? Basically analyzing what just happened so he could rinse and repeat as any good angler should do.
Yeah, I asked what's the temp, and it was like and then I immediately after was like, is it below 70? And he's like, it's 69.5. And I was like, I know what I'm doing today. And so we got my second that I will go to is probably going to be a like 1 to 3 foot diver, either like we'll call it a crankbait, but like a square bill essentially. So we talk about working top down. and the colors like are totally different. So like what I would normally, I have like a lot of chartreuse, a lot of craw color. These are going to be either, my number one for sure is just like a shad color, so that like smoky silver, or I'm going black if you can find it, or I'm going like red belly white with like some sort of black scale pattern. Like those are my three that I'm looking for, and that's really all I'm going to throw. I don't throw chartreuse. I don't throw the like bright orange craw. I don't throw any of that stuff. I go straight to like natural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say very similar. Working top down. I will say like topwater walking baits, not in my wheelhouse, but something I am working on making in my wheelhouse for sure. But wake baits, you were having some luck on a wake bait that
Oh
day,
God.
right? Which I didn't even mention it. The funny thing was I didn't think about it till afterwards because I already had slammed this bait from the 6 cents box before you got there. But I had the exact same bait from 6 cents. I got hammered on it on Friday.
Oh, you're
it,
right. Actually,
it was
I
the like
can't
1 to
believe.
3 foot diving chartreuse is like chartreuse and blue, right? Wake
Yeah,
bait.
like an aqua on top and like
Yep.
chartreuse on the
Yep.
bottom.
I had the same one. It was in the box. I was like, I
Was it
already
the
slammed
size
this.
of your actual? Was it the size of your firstborn?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know.
Nice.
I had big babies. I had big babies. But it was close. But yeah, like for me, it'd be that. I love square bills right now. They're probably like my main go-to in the natural colors. Mostly like 6 cents kind of stuff that I'm throwing right now. I love
Mhm.
those. Lipless and suspending jerks. Again, jerk baits being one of those categories that your boy's trying to get a little more comfortable into. So something I'm
Dude,
working on, but something that is hella effective.
one
Hella
of my
effective.
one of my favorite baits. I mean, I I really really enjoy fishing a jerk bait just because they can be very versatile in the same way that like a deep diving crankbait can be versatile if you really pay attention to like how you're running it. A jerk bait, it works in the dead of summer, it works in the really early season, really late season, and it works on multi-species. So like if you just want to reel a
Mhm.
couple in, a jerk bait is a great option. And you can't. The nice thing too is
Yeah.
like you really can't fish it wrong. Like, can you fish a jerk bait wrong? Straight retrieve works just fine. You
Mhm.
could pause it all day long. You can literally just cast it and leave it, and it's still doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, 100%. Had a couple good recommendations in here. I'll mention from chat as well. So Finn Terry says the double fluke rig. Isn't that called like the
Mhm.
donkey rig? Is that what that is?
Yes.
Pretty sure. Yeah, definitely a winner. We got drop shots from Fish in the Southeast. Hell yes. Ned rigs. Nobody said Ned rigs. Come on, guys.
I,
I was
you
getting
know,
there. Ned rigs.
yeah, and I
Oh,
think Ned's actually. So here's where I would normally Ned. What I end up doing is going to the Zoom trick worm. Want something that's chunkier, and I want something that's got
mhm,
like, granted, a trickworm is not chunky, but I want something
right.
that's like, I want the upsized version of what a Ned normally is. So what's the regular TRD? Like, I want the
Well,
regular turd.
yeah, so shaky head. Some people are already saying it in chat, but like the upscaled, they have two. So they have the big turd and the giant turd.
Yes.
And they're just like 5 and 7 inches respectively. So those are great options too. Throw it on a shaky head. I actually just ordered a whole bunch of shaky heads, picked up some like yum what are they called? The pumpkin head jigs
Yep.
and some 6 cents ones that I think are pretty sweet. Gonna compare
Mm-hmm.
those. But yeah, shaky head, good point. I'm just saying, like where I'm at, depending on the time of the transition, some of the local bodies of water, I know I can hammer on a Ned from basically late September to the 1st of November.
For sure.
So it's
Oh
just
yeah.
something that I throw. That and a square bill, like if I took two baits out, generally it's like those two. Because you can
Yeah.
fish it, you got like a floating square, you fish it as slow or as fast as you want to, right? And then you put the net if they're down bottom,
Yep.
but you're also
The other
hopping it. go with like the super light Neds too. We just picked up those the owner hooks, the blockhead
Yes.
EWGs that are like a
Oh, yeah.
16th of an ounce. So they're just like super
Dude,
slow. Or go weightless.
I rigged that up like 3 different times. It was perfect.
Yeah, you did it on the trip. That's how we knocked out the little EWG, the little Eagle Claws from Mystery Tackle Box.
Absolutely. And the one thing
Mhm.
that no one's called out yet that probably is like my number 2 or 3, like once
Mhm.
once the buzzbait doesn't work, this is probably like right behind my like a square bill. I'm going spinnerbait. I'm going like a medium profile spinnerbait, like double willow leaf, half ounce, 3/8
Mhm.
maybe, but half ounce probably. And that thing, again, like the versatility of it, like if you had one of those, and if you have one of those in your box, you can essentially fish almost any water that you run into. Period.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because you can fish really anywhere in the water column, right? And we've talked about
Exactly.
this before, but we know it's your favorite bait, one of your
Oh
favorite
yeah.
baits for sure.
Oh yeah.
It just gets the job done. I mean, I will say, guys, the worst, not the worst bait, the hardest bait to knock out, if you watch the video today, was that creature, the Big Bite Baits creature bait.
Yes.
We fished that on no less than 7 different rigs for no less than 2 hours,
Oh yeah.
and it finally got knocked out on the spinnerbait. So spinnerbait saved the
Deep
day.
too. 20 some feet. Like for that lake. Deep.
Yes, it was like off the backside of a hump. Like you fish the hump, then you moved off of it, and then you finally
Yep.
caught one. You're on the video. You're just like, I'm gonna let it sink all the way to the bottom. 10 seconds later, it was like, all right, reeling in and got him.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
It was tough. And then the one that I think doesn't get maybe like enough love, but yeah, that's not true. I think that's like it's always on like the pro list, I guess, but I
Mhm.
don't see people doing it enough. Dude, jigging lipless baits. Like you find these bass, smallmouth especially, schooled up right now. And they're just
Yep.
beating up on bait fish. So
Yeah.
they're hunting those high profile spots. They're playing the wind. A lot of times they're playing the wind. Like so I'm going to the lee side of a hump. I'm going to the lee side of a point where wind is driving water up against the shore. I'm going in relatively shallow. So like if it's a real big drop, I'm not going to fish the bottom of the drop. I'm going to fish like the midpoint of the drop. And I'm gonna literally just get within 10 feet of where I think they are. Then I'm dropping that lipless and I'm jigging it up and
Mhm.
down right at the weed line. Um, and man, it
Yeah.
allows you to go super, super deep, make a ton of noise, and stay super, super natural in terms of like
Mhm.
color and size. Deadly. Like whenever you're not going super shallow, one of the most deadly ways to go. Like that's what had we not been fishing to knock out the boxes, I would have gone to 2 of those places where I was just seeing marks, and I would have just dropped the lipless right on their faces.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Andy Ramey in chat just said jigging a lipless. The
That
moment you
freaking
said
boy
that.
right there. That's my guy right there. I love it.
Oh, I love that. B Dooley says, might have missed it, but have you ever used an umbrella rig to imitate bait fish? Now, we I'll put it this way. We're in a place where we wouldn't often throw an actual like umbrella or like an A rig or anything
Yeah.
like that. It's just not a common bait used around here. Just not one we grab for. But we had recently tried, and we just talked about this. Paul and I were talking about this on the trip, and we used it on this trip a whole bunch.
Yep.
The little live target bait ball. It's a spinner bait. It's got like 4 little plastic fishies on it, 4 little paddle tails, like super short, like 3-inch paddle tails, and 1 spinner blade, a willow blade on it. And we threw 2 different colors. We have thrown them each no less than, what would you say, Paul? 150 times
Yeah, easily.
more
Honestly,
in
easily.
a multitude of placements, in places where spinner baits worked,
I was
in
about to say,
places where paddle tails worked, in places where
how
underspins worked,
how did I
and it
get my
didn't
I
work.
got my ass kicked by a spinner bait.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So end of trip. This was not in the video. Like I cut it out because I was just like out of time and we just did the slams. But post slams, we also hit sort of we're trying to get back on track, dry spell. Got a few on like jerk baits. You lost your jerk bait, and then we were like getting frustrated towards the end of the night. And we're heading back in. And I started throwing around like a dark colored spinner bait with gold willow leaf blades on it. It was a Z-Man. And just started torching bass, just like left and right. Got a few pike, a few bass, and just had a good dang time. And Paul was behind me the whole time, throwing a chatterbait, getting real mad.
No, I was
There's the
throwing
guy.
that. I was throwing that stupid fake A rig and getting. I
Oh,
was
you
getting
never switched
owned.
off of that? Well, I
No,
saw you throwing
I
a chatterbait and throwing that on the video,
I
but
lived on that and got my butt handed to me.
by a regular spinnerbait. So that was the direct comparison. There you go. It just didn't work for us.
I will say in the Midwest, what most people use A rigs and like umbrella rigs for is honestly is what it's. They're trolling them and they're using them for like gigantic crappie.
Sure. Yeah.
Like that's the move. And I've seen dudes get dialed in on a spot and they'll just cruise back and forth, trolling one of those nice and slow and just knocking them dead.
Yep.
That's not, and that really, like that list of baits, that really is. I mean, sometimes I'll go to a jig, just because it's like super, super shallow and it's weedy enough where I need something weedless. That's probably the only time I go for a jig, because everything else just to me does a better job of being like the bait fish grabber that I want it to be. And it is rare that I reach for the shaky head, but that's pretty like if I'm going plastic and you're going like power finesse, if you will, like that is probably that is my go-to. The only other time I'm even reaching for a plastic that's not a trailer is when I'm doing what we did on the water, which is I went weedless with with like a stick bait and I went small. That's like the only time I'm really reaching for plastic. Otherwise, for the most part, I'm going for big baits. I'm going for big bites. No one said swim baits, but I know most of the country is reaching for a swim bait at this point, and like a gigantic jig paddle tail. Like that's what people are reaching for.
Oh yeah, for sure. Chaz is behind the scene right now, just going like, hey, yep, duh. That's what I'm grabbing. He's waiting for that the swim bait episode.
It makes sense though. It really does. Big bait fish, moving
for
super
sure.
weird, super loud, drawing a lot of attention. It's gonna get smacked.
Yeah. So in the chat we had I'm gonna slaughter your name here, bud. But Raul Bays asked if we throw a trailer on the spinnerbait. And I will say my 2 cents always, because more hooks equals more fish. But also I will say it kind of depends on the situation. So, if you're getting like short struck, that's usually when you want to have something like that on. But also you throw like a little plastic on the back of that too, generally what happens is the fish will hang on to that hook a little bit more. So like what happened to me when Paul and I were fishing, I was having a good time. I was catching a lot of fish, but I was also missing a lot of fish because I didn't have a plastic on there on that trailer hook for I don't know, like an hour until I got smart again. But they were like biting it and spitting it, but so fast, like just swiping at it and not getting stuck. And I was setting the hook and everything, and I was just missing fish. It was ticking me off. But then I threw the little paddle tail onto that trailer hook, and it's like they bite it and they hang on, and I was able to set the hook on them then. So after that, it was like 100% hookup ratio. So just a thought if you're throwing on those trailer hooks.
I've actually done some research on this because I used to be like a diehard user. And I'll be honest with you, it ended up being that my rigs didn't look nearly as good. Like my hookup ratio may have gone up, but my rigs looked like crap. And there are KVD, I know, is like one of those dudes who's like, if you're not using a treble hook, you're an idiot. Not treble. If you're not using a trailer, you're an idiot. And like
There you go. I was like, treble hook on a spinnerbait. Are we calling that out right now?
We're just getting weird. I get it. I get it. I really do. I personally do not, because I do not rig them well enough to where they look the way I want them to look. And I'll be honest with you, I've had very, very, very few instances where getting dialed in on color, or getting dialed, it's not really color, getting the blades dialed in and then getting the depth dialed in hasn't fixed the problem. Like, if they're going to hit something that big, if a fish is going to nail something that big, you really shouldn't have a problem because of a trailer hook. Now, the difference might be very, very, very late in the season, but at that point, switch to a jerkbait, right?
100%.
That's like my perspective on it. I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer, but I will say, for me, I don't even carry those hooks anymore, because if I feel like I'm getting short struck, I'll either change my skirt, so I'll shorten my skirt, I'll change my trailer to a smaller trailer, or I'll actually go to a smaller profile with a heavier weight on it, or I'll switch the blades to like let it go down deeper, or I'll switch the blades to where I can slow the bait down and stay at the same depth. Like, those are the things that I'm manipulating, versus adding a trailer and actually like removing the action that I'm getting from like a simpler setup. That's just me.
Yeah, I would say I'm different from you in that I have a trailer hook on every single one of my spinnerbaits at all times.
Yeah.
And I pretty much, I mean, exactly. So I pretty much just go trailer hooks on, skirt covers it, it's fine. Unless the skirt gets bit down, then I'll either put a new skirt on or take the trailer hook off, I guess, at that point. But it's pretty much, for me, if I'm getting swiped at more than 3 times and missing, then I throw the paddle tail on. I usually try, I would say, like, I don't always throw it on, like, especially like late fall. If I'm trying to go like, or like spring, I might try to be smaller. But I'll throw it on if I'm getting swiped at and not catching fish. Just try and keep them on longer. And I have a little better success that way. For sure.
The answer to the question is yes. Like, there's no wrong answer. You really can't do it wrong. I think both of those are great opportunities. I don't have a problem with anyone that wants to use a trailer hook. If that's the way you fish,
you better not, bro. We got a show together.
Just rock it. I personally I'm not a treble hook guy. There's other stuff that I would do instead. But I don't think there's a wrong answer for that.
So real quick in the chat, guys talking about trailer on a bladed jig. So it's funny you should mention that. And somebody mentioned earlier, like, killing it on the jackhammer. And I'll say yes, most of the time. Windy days, my favorite thing to throw is a jackhammer. But it was 17-mile-an-hour winds when Paul and I were out on the lakes this weekend. And somehow, I think we got 2 bites on jackhammers the entire time. And I just bought us a whole bunch of brand new ones too. I was even throwing the Thunder Cricket, which might be coming up in a Monster Bass box. I don't know. You guys should probably subscribe to Monster Bass if you want a nice Thunder Cricket. My second favorite chatter of all time. I love fishing chatterbaits. I feel like I'm pretty proficient at them, but we just weren't catching them on that trip. But as far as a trailer, I almost always 9 times out of 10 throw a paddle tail, unless I just want to get real weird. And sometimes you got to get real weird and try different things. Sometimes that happens, but most of the time a paddle tail. So you guys mentioned the Guggenbait Saucy Swimmer. I think that's a solid one. I just picked up a couple I'm going to try. And I will say, like, the Strike King, I think it's a Rage Tail Swimmer. Rage Tail?
Yep.
I don't have them in front of me. The Strike King, more durable than the Guggenbaits and same amount of action. That is probably my go-to. And I actually picked up the Bass Pro editions of that just to see how they hold up. Never fished them. I'm going to try that one. So I can say from experience, my Guggenbaits last 1 fish or less. Just saying, like, they fall apart. And I think they have amazing action. And I think the fish bite them. I will say that. They will catch fish. That's for sure. But for whatever reason, they just fall apart on me. So I'm trying a couple different paddle tails. I just want to see, like, what holds up a little bit better. Like the Strike King, has crushed it so far. I want to see what the Bass Pro does just to test it because it's a little bit cheaper, honestly. And then try a couple other ones out there. So if you guys have any like favorite paddle tails other than Guggen baits, I have a bunch of those. Trust me, I'm already fishing them. All right. Looking for other options on the market. I've also fished like the Exo Swim, from Carl's Club. So the Exo Swim is fine. But again, it's like a one fish and done. I need a more durable one. You're throwing that chatterbait, like you're ripping those fish.
So
You are moving. So it's something I wanted to survive.
I'm a big Paddler Z and the Diesel Minnow Z. Like depending on how much action you need, I think the Swimmer Z is like the easiest to rig as a trailer. The Diesel Minnow, these are all Z-Man. The Minnow Z, I think, as a standalone, as like a swim bait, absolutely. Honestly, it it doesn't even come in that many options. It's just a great size because it's got a big fat body and like that 90-degree tail. Versus the Swimmer Z has a circular tail, way more action, like real trim at the back, and then so you can actually bite it at the front, and you can almost match whatever you need. The other paddle tail that I really, really like that is like shockingly durable is that oh god, what's the Power Baits? Their paddle tail, the shad, the 2, is it a 2-inch? I think it's a 2-inch shad. Comes in like a hyper realistic, has the glued on eyes. They're kind of expensive, but man, if you need a downsized version that lasts forever, those things are rock solid.
No, for sure. I was just thinking too, like, doesn't Z-Man make paddle tails?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we just go get some Elastec and last forever?
I think I have 3 or 4 packs of them. Bait Labs has a couple.
The Diesel?
Yes.
Is it the Diesel minnows?
The Diesel minnows, those are the big ones. I like the paddlers. So the Paddler Z. That's the one that I feel like is a trailer. It excels as a trailer just because of the shape, and then it's a little more like you get a little more action out of the tail, like a subtle action. The Diesel is like erratic. It's meant as a standalone. I don't really think a lot of people use the Diesel as like a trailer unless it's on a huge bait.
Well, yeah. A half-ounce chatterbait, maybe.
No, but yeah,
I'd throw in.
As a large chatterbait, absolutely. And as a spinner bait, honestly, I almost only use my Swimmer Z as a spinner bait trailers. They're fantastic.
Oh, for sure. So Chaz is showing off baits that you guys can't see. What is that, Chaz? What one's that? The 13 fishing. What? Shut up. Is that for real? 13 Fishing has a swim bait plastic called My Name's Jeff. All right. Chaz, tell me where to buy this. I'm going to buy about 15 bags of that.
You got some stuff to purchase.
I'm going shopping right after this. I can tell you guys what.
Bro, the Ripple Shad, the Ripple Shad's the one that I'm thinking of. It's a 2-inch.
That thing looks awesome.
And they make a 3-inch and a 4-inch, but I'm telling you, the 3-inch Ripple Shad, honestly, it's way more durable than it has any business being, considering how it's a really small profile. That's like a 1/8 ounce jig crusher. I've caught more pike on that than I probably on anything else.
No, for sure. Hey, let's catch up on chat here real quick with you guys. So B Dooley says, ever mess with homemade baits? We're gonna say yes. Guess what the winter projects are gonna be? Homemade baits. We're gonna make some stuff. I don't know if we're gonna get like into plastics. I might. But tying stuff is going to happen. Re-skirting some jigs, bladed jigs, spinners, things like that.
Do the shaky head with an extra long
skirt,
like section of fur, maybe feathered, is one that I'm actually really interested in, because I don't think there's anything that stands up quite like that has that much of a body on it. And a lot of times, depending on how you tie it, it'd be really, really easy to give it that big, like, feeding bait fish look if you put a paddle tail on it, which is something that like nobody does.
I like it. I like it. So yeah, we'll definitely be getting into that. And then I saw someone here. Somebody said where to fish chatterbaits. Oh, I missed it somewhere in there.
Uh,
Anyways, where do you fish chatterbaits? I fish
the
them all over the
water.
place, but through the grass. Yeah, in the water. You'd be surprised where they work, but through the grass. Through the grass is like my favorite place to go. You can ask Paul or go to any of our videos of recent history. I think we fished chatterbaits in the past like 4 or 5 videos.
Yep.
Um, Grass flats. It's like 4 or 5 feet deep. Grass, the weeds coming up near the top of the water column, and we're just like ripping through that, and we were just hammering fish. This last trip, not so much. We had a few on them, even in the flat section, but through the grass is like my favorite spot to do it. If not along a weed line, also a great option. Somebody asked about our favorite stick baits. I saw a few options in here. The Yum Dinger I saw, which you can get in gigantic packs, which is pretty fantastic. I do like the Yum Dinger. What else do I like? Well, all right. So Z-Man's. Z-Man's got their Zinkers. The Zinkers last forever. So those are fantastic. And then the 6 Sense Clout, the Clout Worm. I like that. I think it's pretty durable. Or the X Zone. The X Zone, what's their worm called?
True.
Paul,
The
you got some.
true
True
center.
Center. True Centers.
Yeah.
Those are pretty red too. Say the Guggen baits are fine too. I definitely have some lunker logs. Again, the durability
Yeah.
not
that's my
not with it.
I have no they're just they don't they don't do anything
Action
for
is
me.
good.
Yeah, but
No,
like
action is good and they catch
it's a
fish,
stick
but
bait.
I find
Yeah, there's nothing unique about them
yeah,
whatsoever. Like to me, they're the exact same as like every single other like generic stick bait. Like you go get the Northland
yeah.
tackle, and like there's no difference, and you're gonna pay like $2 less.
Dude,
Um,
so the Yum Dinger, guys, the Yum Dinger is
it
such a
is.
legit cheap stick bait. I
It,
love the dinger.
but the colors that you get, their color selection is actually really
Pretty
good.
great colors.
Like really
Hmm.
really good. No one said Yamamoto. I mean, that's a legend. Let's be real. It's got to be the most expensive one out there without a question. I
It's
mean,
very expensive.
so
Yeah,
expensive. I've
that's
had
the
like
issue.
maybe 2 or 3 like bags of them in my life, and I've never been like, I must have these again. Like I don't, I just don't. I don't really care. My go to only because you can really get it at anywhere, and I don't have a lot of really tackle shops near me, and I do not shop online a lot for this stuff. Um,
Yeah.
Striking the KVD Perfect Plastics, I, they're
The
great.
Ochos,
The Ocho's good. I also like
I think they're more
the
durable.
dude. They're legit. They're legit.
Yeah.
There's also the shimmy, which has like the pointed bottom. It's really great for shaky head.
Yeah.
Yum though. Yum is probably what I have more than anything else.
See?
I mean, I know we already said it, and it's like not cool to say like something that somebody else has because like you want to be rad or whatever. But dude, it's a great call out. It really is. You can get them anywhere.
Yeah.
They're a couple bucks. The shape is
Oh, super
fantastic.
cheap.
The durability is very good. They have like that white and with black pepper like color. I probably have 3 bags
Yeah.
of those.
I
Legit.
think they come in I think they come in a 100 pack too. Just throwing it out there. But
So that's
that
what I buy.
said,
I buy the trick worms in those, the bulk pack.
oh, for sure, for sure. So BJ Manny says do the wacky rig trick, which is the O-ring with 2 of them
Yeah.
crisscross with an X shape. So you use the O-ring tool to pop them onto your worm in the middle. And I'll say, great point. Make that X, put the hook through that. Better action, in my opinion. Lasts for more than one fish, doesn't get thrown
Yes.
off. But if you have a less durable worm, like some that we've mentioned, I've literally had the lunker logs get split in half over time by the O-rings.
Yeah. It's just
So
it,
I don't know.
again, it's
Thought.
like what are you using it for? Like I'm not gonna use that. I'm gonna use a circle hook. I'm gonna use
Mhm.
a weedless, and I'm probably gonna be throwing it in a finesse situation. Like
Facts.
it's a good gripe, but it's just like that'd be like saying, I'm going to use a trick worm on a 4-aught gigantic gauge hook. You're just not going to. It's not what it's for.
Yeah. No, for
But like,
sure.
I, yeah,
PJ
right.
Manny says the O-ring split it. Trash.
Okay.
All right. So I think we're pretty good. Can I have
Mods.
your Guggen baits? Fishing from the southeast wants my Guggen baits. Man, if I didn't invest as much as I had into them, I'd just like dish them out. Maybe I'll throw them in some giveaways here going forward. I definitely still use them, but they do fall apart. So all I'm saying is my what are those, the Ned rig ones we've been using,
The
Paul? The
rattling
with
net.
the rattling Neds. I will legit go through an entire pack of those on half a river trip.
We've done
And
it
then
multiple times.
multiple times. Yeah.
They're
And
good
then
though.
like
Those are good though.
no, for sure. Like it's like if the regular Ned's not catching them, the rattling Ned catches them, and it's pretty legit. So
That's a great
yeah,
idea.
just a thought. Just burning through them sometimes, which sucks when you spend $6 a bag or $5 a bag or whatever they are. I
Any
think
other questions? Any other questions on fall?
yeah. Fall thoughts. Somebody did
Like,
say, "Oh, I'd like to try Nico rigging. Highly recommended. Do that."
probably
Same
not the
thing.
best
Use a
time of
band.
year. Probably not the best time of year.
It's so wacky Nico. We throw a lot in like summer for where we're at, but if you're in warmer climate, you could probably still get away with it.
Oh, you can. If you're above
Just
if
not.
you're above like 72 degrees all day.
Yeah, it's just not something we're throwing in Michigan right now. I make wooden crankbaits, fish in the southeast. Tight, dude.
Yeah.
I love it. We might
Yeah.
try to make some stuff this winter. We'll see. Yeah, I think
We're good.
pretty sure we're caught up. I think we're caught up. Let's roll.
All right. So my deal is I've got a couple of projects, and this is all outside of hunting. So just so everybody knows, I love to fish. I love to fish. I like talking about
Do
fishing.
you like fishing?
I enjoy it
No.
so much that I truly love it. I also really love hunting, and so duck hunting is new for me this year. I'm getting into it as sort of like, that's going to be my deal this fall. I will be doing that more than I deer hunt. I'll be doing that almost more than anything else. But I will be deer hunting. I'll be duck hunting. That takes me essentially through till when we get ice and I'll start ice fishing. So I just want to be clear, my time is going to be split. That being said, one of my big projects is actually related to the fact that we just bought a new kayak. So I've got a couple of mods that I really want to do for the kayak this winter. A lot of it is around really wanting to go bow fishing for like carp and gar and stuff like that next year. So one of the biggest mods that I really want to work on is I want to do a modular LED light system for the kayak. By modular, I mean I want an LED light that's a big spotlight that I can clip 2 of them to the very front of the boat, and then I want to be able to move them to either side of the H rails on the left or the right of the boat, so that I can like have floodlights on either side and use them for bow fishing at night. That is like one of my biggest must do's. And by having it on the front, I can use it for duck hunting when you're going out on the water at like 3 a.m. to go set your spread. What a huge help to be able to like, no, I'm not gonna die, no, I'm not gonna hit any other boats, and just make sure I get where I need to go safely. So that's one of my biggest projects that I have to figure out how it's going to work, and 2, I should have to pay for it. So that's one of my big to dos this winter/fall.
Yeah. So that's a tough one, right? Because the kayaks to me are pretty well rigged out at this point. If you guys aren't sure, just watch any video you want. Also the assembly videos that we've done.
Yep.
But I would say if there's anything else I want to add to it right now, it's probably similar. So like I would love to have like an LED strip in there. Really, ultimately, I would like to have like that yak power kit.
Yeah.
Something where you got like the USB plug-in with the waterproof cover whenever you want it. You've got the switch outlet, so you can just switch to whatever you're using at the time. You can plug in your camera, you can do whatever you want, and then you can have those LED lights as well to use for whatever we need to, right? And we've got some plans, some thoughts, some things that have been delayed due to certain worldwide crises. But at some point, Chaz laughing at us. Chaz can still go to Canada if he wants to because he's a jerk. But we cannot. And Paul has a place, and we want to go there, and we want to do things. But at some point, we're going to be able to. So I think this is just kind of like that season, that year, that time that we can maybe finish rigging these things out to the best of our abilities so that they're capable of doing what we want to. So yeah, I'd say definitely some projects. If you guys want to see that, like, we'll throw it up on the channel. I usually do that anyways, just any project we got going. But I'm thinking that's like electrical and LED lighting. That's like one project for the kayak. That's probably one last thing I want to do. I'm still waiting on some Hobie parts so that I can rig up my anchor wizard in a better spot as well. So it's not exactly video worthy, but it's something that I really, really want to do because it's way more convenient where Paul has his versus where I have mine. So we're going to change that up. And then I would say, like, main thing I want to do is I want to tie some baits, whether it be, hair jigs like Paul's been talking about, unique, different variations of other jigs, shaky head jigs, whatever. But also I've got from, like, my great uncle gave me a whole bunch of gear for tying inline spinners. So I kind of want to tie a bunch of inline spinners and just do some funky stuff with that and see if we can go out and catch some fish on them. I think that would be sweet.
You could troll those out on the big lake for walleye.
Yeah, we can do all sorts of stuff. And like, I want to tie some light ones for like the flat river when it's low. Go hammer some smallies on that. I think that'd be a lot of fun too.
I'll take it to my trout spot. Dude, that's a good idea. I like it.
Yeah, because I didn't know. So all I really knew of inline spinners until I met this guy was like, and I just hadn't seen him in like 25 years, was like, all I had known about inline spinners was MEPS. I was like, oh, MEPS, yeah, yep, those things. And then he just gave me a bunch. We had like some Joe's custom flies, which if you guys don't know, go look them up. They're pretty legit. Some of them are like Colorado blade with a single hook and like hair, whatever different types of like hair tied onto the hook. Sweet. And they will catch smallies, but they're actually for trout. Just some cool different like trout spinners and stuff like that I've never seen before. So kind of interested to get into it, tie some, do some different things. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So I'm pumped for that.
That's a good one. One of mine,
yeah,
I really want to get a duck blind for the kayak so that it's not just getting me out there. I want to like legit stash my gun. I want to have 2 bags of decoys. I want to pedal out to where I'm going. I want to paddle back into the muck, set my spread, put those 2 doors over myself, and I just want to blow some ducks away from my boat. That sounds like the freaking dream. So who makes that? Yak Gear. Yak Gear makes, it's like $200.
Yeah.
It's legit made for either the Old Town like sportsman size boat or the
right.
Hobie Pro Angler. And dude, that's all I want to do.
Let's just blow ducks away.
Yeah, I want to be the bane of every quacker's existence, period.
Quacker's going down.
Punkers as well. I'm equal opportunity, and I'm going to eat every single one of them. Actually, I really want to get some geese this year so I can make goose pastrami.
So if you guys want to...
Tell me that doesn't sound awesome.
No, it sounds awesome. If you guys want to follow Paul, be sure to follow him on Instagram. It's at Paul_J_glass. Go follow him because he's posting all this stuff. He doesn't have a YouTube channel because he's a chicken. He might one day. He just upgraded all his computers, so he can probably do that. But if you want to see some hunting stuff, we can do that. But it also depends. If we decide to go with that roulette wheel spin and I become camera guy Jeff, it's like the inverse of Burly fishing. Well, it's glass hunting.
Anything could happen. Anything could happen.
Anything could literally happen.
It would just be really cool. And goose pastrami sounds like the coolest thing on planet Earth. So I definitely want to do some of that. My other thing, and this sounds like so boring, but like I actually just want to take some days or nights is what it'll end up being. I want to take some nights, like 4 to 5 hours. I really need to put in like 3 or 4 full-time days of just scouting out new spots, specifically on the river. Like I want to. There's 3 rivers that I'd really like to find new access to, and try and hit both upstream and downstream of, like, super, super bad.
No, for sure. That's awesome. Uh, Catching up in chat here real quick. So BJ Manny's wants to give you all of his geese. Paul,
Oh,
would you like
really?
them?
Fantastic. You're just like to
So
shoot them. You don't like to eat them. That's great.
he says, I hate those things. So
Oh,
you can
dude,
send them
have
over
you
to
ask
Paul
me?
at
I would do this if I could, but I'm not on my computer. Tell me,
yeah,
have you ever tried pastrami? That's my
goose
question.
pastrami.
Yes.
Goose
All right,
pastrami.
dude. Don't
Let me
start with
know.
me. That's what I want
Dude,
to know.
they're terrible, he says. He says they're terrible, greasy,
Bro, I'm
gross.
gonna all right, follow me on Instagram. When I finally shoot a goose and or geese, I will show you what I'm gonna do with it, and
Guys,
it'll blow your mind.
if only you followed Paul on Snapchat. Basically, 98% of Paul's Snapchats are Paul in just digesting food. Basically, and usually it's just extremely overly spiced food. So he'll basically take
Maybe even hot
sriracha. Yeah, exactly. He'll take sriracha and he'll just squeeze half the bottle out onto one Ritz cracker and just like eat it. So,
I
if
actually
you're
thought
if you're
about
hearing him talking about eating, goose pastrami right now or whatever, like it's legit. He's gonna do it. It'll be on Instagram too. But his Snapchats are just him chewing food in front of a camera. So
I
maybe
actually
be
thought
thankful that
about
you're not following him there.
yeah, and it's really up close. I actually thought about making my Instagram just or not my Instagram of like doing like going on a TikTok
Do a
and like
TikTok.
actually doing TikToks of just me eating really really hot food and having like being completely unfazed. Because like,
Bruh, how unoriginal. Already a thing. 10
is it
times over.
really? Oh
Oh, for
God,
sure. Are you
dang
kidding?
it!
First of all, there's a YouTube channel called Hot Ones, which is literally just eating extremely spicy wings and talking to celebrities.
That I
So I'm
believe.
sorry.
I don't doubt that for a
You're
second.
late. You were late to the show, my friend. But
You're
that's
so
okay.
you're saying it's been successful and my idea is super good.
Oh, for sure. So Chow says he's gonna send you the Carolina Reaper jerky, and
Okay.
we'll
Yes,
just
yes,
see
yes.
if you survive.
I understand there are things that will kill me and my unborn children if I eat them. I totally recognize that. But I'll tell you right now, we've had some like ridiculously hot peppers come out of the garden, like ridiculously
Mhm.
hot to the point, and I just eat them raw. I don't even bother.
Yo,
I just literally slice them up and I just eat them. I just eat slices of hot pepper. It doesn't even. I feel like it's like when I moved to Minneapolis. I feel like my blood got thicker, and my body was like insulating itself from the extreme cold. I feel like now I've done that with hot peppers, where I just chew raw hot pepper, and I'm like, I wish this were hotter.
that's awesome. So, hey, guess what, guys? We have a special guest in chat today. Tracy is here. She is here under Smile Smile, and she says, "Hey, it's the girl you met at undisclosed campground, Tracy. We told you not to say the name of the dang campground." Tracy, take her can opener and get out of here. Dang it, Tracy. we gave you one job. We said,
One
come listen to
job.
the show and hang out
One
with us.
job.
And also, don't ever tell anybody where we camp.
Tracy was the
Hi, Tracy.
nicest person ever.
Tracy put up with us after fishing for, what did we fish? Like 16 hours that day.
Yeah.
But we were filming our outro, and I think I left it in part 2. You guys can corroborate this. But like we're filming it, and she just goes, hey, do you have a can opener? And I did. I gave it to her because I'm a gentleman, possibly a scholar. But Tracy, thanks for dropping by. That's fantastic. I didn't know if you would. I didn't know if she would remember. That's so awesome.
It seems like I asked her to, and she had like a long trip, and I asked her to travel safe, and so it seems like she did, which makes me happy. So thank you for being awesome. Thank you for putting up with us, and thanks for putting up with my extremely, extremely bright headlamp that blinded 50% of the people at the campsite.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We're like talking to Tracy, you guys, and Paul just has his headlamp on, and I, like a normal human being that respects other human beings, turned off my headlamp because there were fires nearby, and Paul
No,
left his on.
Nick, mine
As
just started.
okay, he turned his on in her face and left it on. So just casual blinding people
Like
around
I
here.
said, she was a saint.
Yep. So thanks for joining us, Tracy. Happy to have you. Another quick, maybe a couple of questions here from Tyler Kamlowski. Nailed it or didn't nail it? Tell me in chat,
I already know you
Tyler.
did.
Either did or didn't. Or either did or
Hashtag
didn't. Oh my gosh. All right. So he asked a couple questions here, but first thing he was asking was like go-to fall baits. We kind of hit him a little bit. Speed round, Paul. Quick top 5 Paul baits, or yeah, top 5 Paul baits. Go
buzz
for
bait,
fall.
buzz bait, spook on top, jerk bait.
He said I nailed it.
Spinner bait. No, you didn't.
He said I did. You shut up. You don't know.
He's just trying to be nice. I would say square bill. And then if you gotta go all the way down low and get subtly aggressive, I would do a shaky head with a trick worm, which would be like my upsized version of a Ned rig. And the only reason, by the way, I use the shaky head and not the Ned is because the hook shank is typically longer on a shaky head. So I'd go like with the lightest shaky head I can, but they typically have a wider gap. So that's the only reason I actually do that. And it also stands up actually a little bit better with the longer worm. So those are my go-tos.
There you go. There you have it. And Cha says swim bait. Swim bait all day. You know, Cha always has a swim bait tied on.
Gigantic paddle tail or a swim bait is a phenomenal option. Anything that's bait fish. And to be honest with you, I know people in the say summertime's the time to get like the most aggressive like baits out. I actually think that early fall is, if you're in the Midwest, anytime, honestly, if you're anywhere near a coast, that's really, I think that's the time to get out your most aggressive stuff in terms of size, not in terms of color, and in terms of like splashiness.
Yeah, we were using big baits this past weekend.
Yes,
and like the fish,
they were all smacking.
The fish were pissed. The fish were just pissed, just piss and vinegar. It was hilarious.
The only exception is with the jerkbait. Now, when I mean exception, I mean it's not incredibly loud. So there are a lot of times where I wouldn't go with a crankbait. I would go with a jerkbait. But the jerkbait that I used that was super successful, it was white and pink. It had 2 ball bearings in it. It casted like 3/4 of a mile, and it was a suspending, super loud jerkbait. So like
suspending is killer.
Yeah, I grabbed like one of the loudest ones that I had. So, and it was like 3+ inches long. So that's definitely an aggressive side still. So that's my one call. Is like, don't be afraid to like the buzzbait is probably the most excessively loud and splashy topwater there is, and it just crushes. Yep. I caught one of the biggest fish of the day on last month's monster bass like buzzbait.
Oh, for sure. For sure. It was legit. Tracy says, nice meeting you. Bye, Tracy. If you're hopping off right now. No, she said thanks for the can opener. She said it earlier.
Just making sure.
No, she was awesome. She was perfect.
It was great. Thank you for joining. You're popular now.
So awesome having you here. That's so fantastic. Small world, guys. Like, hopefully I see you guys sometime out somewhere. That would be so amazing. I'm just like anticipating the day. It would be so fun. But all right, so we covered small baits. Small fall baits. But somebody did ask about like, oh, what about the Southeast? Christopher Shue said, what about the Southeast? And I think we both probably agree with this. Just like the further south you go, it's probably a bit warmer. You can just do cooler stuff than we can do, like a little bigger baits, a little more aggressive than we normally do. Somebody earlier was saying, I think it was fishing the Southeast. You should probably ask him about the Southeast. But yeah, like he said, he's fishing frogs like
it's
all year round.
Water temp.
Yeah, it's check your water temp. We're under it was warm and we were under 70. it's about to drop quite
So
a bit more.
it was 43 this morning. It's going to be 32 to 33 tomorrow morning.
Yep.
We will get an Indian summer. We almost always do. But yeah, I mean, you're in early fall. I mean, when the rest of the world is grabbing like leather boots and thin pants to go deer hunting, I'm grabbing my like midwinter insulated pants and I'm wearing 800-gram Thinsulate rubber boots. Like it's just Michigan hits different. So it is what it is. It's all about water temp though. Like the fish do not care like about anything except water temp. Water temp rules everything. I've written about this a couple times. If you want to go hit the blog, we talked about last time. The buzz bait, my 3 favorite buzz baits are in the blog. Water temp is everything. So, that's why I try and give you that range of like, depending on where you are, the first thing that like I said, the first question for Jeff was, are we below 70? Once you're below 70, you can start thinking about fall baits. Once you get 65, you should be all in on fall baits. And then once you are in that 65 to 55 degree range, that's where you're going to live unless you're fishing for trout. So like every single one of these things is really all around water temp, not air temp. So try and keep that in mind. When you're talking about the Southeast, you guys are still 75 degree water. So you're not there yet. You'll get there eventually. You're not going to hit 55, but like you'll get there eventually. And when you hit those fall baits, you'll know it because the water temp will hit, below 70. You'll hit that 65 degrees and it's like time to grab stick bait, period. Like time to grab the top water spook bait. Just do it.
Yeah, for sure. So check your water temp first of all, and then ask local people. Also, Tracy says heart face, 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 heart face.
Crushed
Just
it.
so you know, Paul. Tracy, you're so awesome. I love it. All right, so check your water temps. Kind of base things off of that. We're in Michigan, so if you guys are south of us, you're gonna be warmer than us, most likely. So it's gonna be a little bit different. Yeah, basically, your fishing should be a little bit easier. It kind of depends. It depends on the timing. It is, and Fish in the Southeast keeps saying frogs. I love this. I love this guy. It's just frogs, frogs, frogs. That's fantastic. Just keep doing it, man. For sure. Oh my gosh, I wish I could just throw frogs all year round. Are you kidding me?
I wish I could throw frogs all year and catch freaking like 24-inch god dang like 9-pound bass like all freaking
no, we were talking about that too. Like we just make our fish smaller. Like I catch a 5-pounder, I'm like, yay, PB. And like the way I picture it is everybody from the south is just like, 5 pounds, neat. My warm-up fish.
Yeah, like my breakfast fish are bigger than that.
Our crappie are 5 pounds.
But I still
Dang it.
Honestly, I'll tell you right now, and this is my personal opinion. I would not trade gigantic, 11-pound bass for pike, period. I like my pike too much.
Pike are pretty fantastic. They're a lot of fun.
I love being scared of the fish that come in my boat.
Oh, for sure. So Tracy said there was a lot of frogs at our campsite. So little B-roll that will not make any video, guys. A little behind the scenes. Paul and I went fishing. It was actually when we talked to Tracy a whole bunch, but we went fishing at night and we walked down a trail at said campsite, which will be redacted from the chat later on, Tracy. But we walked down and we were just fishing like worms on drop shot. And we were fishing for catfish, and we caught what ended up being apparently a bullhead. I couldn't see at night. It was hard. Some sort of catfish, little guys. And it was a heckin' good time. But we were just like sitting in the sand, drinking some dad pops, and just casting out and sitting there with a worm and catching some catfish. Did not videotape any of this. And I also, yes, I did just say videotape. Quote me on it. And we were like, well, I caught 3 and I was happy, and I made them all bite Paul, basically. Like Paul just got bit a whole bunch and I hooked into fish. But there were some frogs going crazy. So I agree with you, Tracy. There were frogs everywhere. We were just like spotlighting them and they would just look at us, and then like one of them just went into the water and was just swimming around all shallow, and it was hilarious. And we are just having a good time, just hanging out at night on the beach. It was so awesome. It was a fun weekend. I had a lot of fun. I think it was like one of the better weekends of the year for sure.
Yeah, we didn't get to do nearly enough camping, but when we did, we crushed it, and this was a great time.
We're on the boat at least 87% of the time.
Oh yeah,
that we were there,
if you
including sleep.
I would say if that includes sleeping.
That includes sleeping.
All right, so I do have another thing that I really would like to do this year, like in a big way, and that would be, dude, I want to do an ice fishing trip where the only thing that we target is walleye and pike, like big, gigantic, delicious fish that I'm a little bit scared and a little bit nervous about bringing onto the ice. That's what I want.
I agree. So now's a good point to segue, guys. What kind of videos do you want to see this fall and winter? That is what we need help with, because it does get to a point. Basically, fall is a very short season for us, and it just disappears basically. And it's like, it's winter. I remember it was either last year or a couple years ago. I took my kids trick or treating, and it just started like a blizzard just hit on Halloween. Like, are you freaking kidding me? That's Michigan. So basically, our fall is going to disappear. And then we're going to have a real tough time catching any fish for a while until the ice comes in. Paul's going to be hunting. I'm going to be sitting here just like reorganizing my gear several times over. So give me some ideas. Anything you want to see, any videos that we haven't mentioned talking about, either tying jigs or whatever, like working on our kayaks, give us some ideas, things you want to see. Paul just mentioned one, hopefully we get at least like, I don't know, last year we only got what, Paul, 3 trips on the ice?
Trips, yes. I got out. Well, shoot, the year before that.
Separately, we got out a few times.
Yeah.
So
when my son was
like 4
born,
or 5.
When my son was born, I got to go like 10 days straight, I think. Like right before my son was born.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, you had a good time that time. But other than that, the last couple of years have been kind of tough. So hopefully we get at least, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 days on the ice. We might have to just go further north, man. Like, we might have to just make a trip out of it.
So here's the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize. Like, here's the deal with ice. Ice quality is not uniform. So like if you live in Michigan and it becomes winter, you don't just get to ice fish. So
correct. Very important note. Did fall through the ice last year.
Yeah, the quality of the quality of the ice comes and goes, and the quality of the ice isn't uniform across the state. So speaking for Michigan only, and I'm not talking about the Great Lakes. I'm talking about inland lakes. Small ponds, yes, those are typically going to freeze over. Now, for me personally, I don't mess with ice that's less than 4 inches thick. And that's just me walking with my gear. So my total weight is probably in the 250 pound. We'll call it 250. I'm not going on ice that's less than 4 inches. That's my line, 4 inches. I dig a hole, I check it 4 inches. I look to see if other people have been on the ice, tracks in the snow. That's a good sign. I'll walk out. I know roughly what the depth is, so I'll walk out like 30, 40 yards to where I know it's a couple feet deep, and I'll drill a hole, and I'll be like, all right, 4 inches, we're good. And I'll start walking. Now, if it's early in the season, there's still danger that's out there because obviously where the water's thinner, the temperature is cooler, and so you get thicker ice closer to shore. So you continuously have to drill holes, checking where you're at to make sure that you're on safe ice. If you see slush on top, if you hear creaking, cracking, that's not just the ice moving, which is like you have to learn that difference in sound. But as you're walking on the ice, you really need to be careful. If you're on a four-wheeler and you're anything less than even 4 to 6 inches, you're taking your life in your own hands. I mean, legitimately, you legitimately could die. And so, like, I don't
Oh
do
yeah.
any of that. My ice fishing kit, my ice fishing rigs are really simple. That being said, one of my big goals for this year would be to get a shanty that can hold and accommodate
Mm,
a camera and 2 to 4 people. So that's a six
yep.
person. That's a 6 person ice shanty. That would allow us to fish all day, have a heater that runs on propane, that allows us to still drag it on a sled, which is very simple,
Yep.
and have about 2 trillion times more fun than what we've had in the past. So that's my goal for this year. And I would really like to fish some of those really hot, like super productive lakes
Yep.
that have like walleye shelves that I can go target walleye, that have 6 to 8 foot big flats so we can go target like muskie and pike. And you will see some
Yep.
bass. I mean, I catch bass every year ice fishing. But man, I really want to just do some fish fries out on the ice. I just think that's like video
Yep.
that people don't get to see enough. And if you're down south, or really anywhere that's not like pretty far north, you just don't get to see it, and it just doesn't sound cool until like you see somebody doing it like right. When you see somebody like doing
Yeah.
it right, it's like a totally different experience. So that's one of my that'd be like what I would really like to do this year.
Oh, for sure. We'll make a point to do it right, you guys. So, yeah, like Andy Ramey said, don't like fishing videos, but I'll watch it. So it's like, yeah,
Ice fishing videos
I
suck.
agree.
Ice fishing videos
I
are
agree.
terrible. Ice fishing videos are terrible because people don't do it right.
Well,
Like there's a
we'll make a
way
decent
to
one.
there's a way to show there's a way to
Hmm.
show there's a way to show the fun side of it. It's not going to be a 45-minute video, right?
Oh, for
But I
sure.
will show. But I will show you. Let me just put it this way: what they don't show is the Vexillar working.
Yep.
You never get to see the Vexillar working, and when you get to see someone using like a sonar correctly, I will show you how picking off giant crappie and giant bluegill is like, man, when you get into them and you can't get off them, is like one of the most fun things that you can do. It also, like, people don't show like the social aspect of it, which I feel like is lost a lot. I mean, it's like the duck hunting of fishing. I mean, it really is. It's just so much fun.
Yeah.
So we'll try and bring that out in the videos, and hopefully we can change your mind a little bit about ice fishing videos.
It's definitely just really different. But I will say we went on a trip. I was just looking to see if I even made a video on this. We went on a
I
trip
don't think we
last
did.
year
I don't think we did.
or this year.
Yep.
Yeah, we did not make. I was just looking back to see. I don't think we made a video of it.
See, the batteries would have got
Double.
crushed in that temperature.
Oh, for sure. It was terrible. No, we did not. I made one ice fishing video this year. You guys want to look at it? 7 months ago. So whenever that was. So you can check
Freaking
that
legend.
out. Yeah, that was on my home lake. That was actually a day I fell through. I don't know if it's on that video, but I fell through that day. But other than that, yeah, we didn't make the one. So we went on a big trip. Actually, the first episode of the podcast, if you guys go back, is what is it? Fried crappie in a 1-star hotel is the title. First of all, that should give you an idea of what it's like. We recorded it in the hotel, and as you could assume, and we were on a big lake in Michigan, and we had a heck ton of fun. And we walked the whole lake. Everybody else was on 4-wheelers and jeeps and in shanties, and we were out there. And literally every 1 hour, somebody said, "Hey, are you guys okay? Like, are you sure you want to be out here right now? Like, you don't
You're
seem to
fine, right?
be, sound mind." Like, so everybody was worried about us, but we were catching fish, and I'll tell you, other people weren't. So I don't think I was in the right frame of the mind with the channel as far as like how to record it, but I know this year we can do better. I know, Andy said if it's like vlog style, I'll watch more. Awesome. Great. We'll do that. So it'd definitely be more vlog style. We'll have more fun with it. Maybe catch and cook. We'll do some stuff. So it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. We're gonna make it happen.
So my other we haven't heard any like what you would want to see comments. So my other question would be, one of the things we really want to focus on too, especially in the wintertime, when for us typical bass fishing is not going to be happening. What gear reviews do you guys want to see? We've been working on a few. We have a couple in the works here, but we'd like to know what kind of gear do you want to see reviewed? I mean, we're obviously still going to do your bait reviews. We're going to do your box reviews. But is there any fishing gear that you want to see get broken down?
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Anything like that. Obviously, you got the subscription boxes. Less one subscription as of this month. I have officially canceled one of them.
Dude, you didn't even show the box.
I don't know if I should. It's an unboxing for next week. I'll show some of it. All right, so while I prep for that, real quick, Chaz, no, I'm not going to shotgun a beer right now because I don't have one at the ready. I have this double IPA, and I'm not going to do that. Oh, on a camp video? For sure. No, for sure. That'll happen. That's good. Yep, you got it. Gary says chug a beer. Thanks, Gary. Trying to run a family show here.
No, you know what? I think that's a pretty
good. Nope. Great point. But I want to run you back, Paul, while I grab this box. So Construction Steve asked if you like walleye or perch better.
Oh, bro. All right.
Go.
Can I
go?
Just go do what you're gonna do. All right. So
I have the box already. You have 5 seconds to answer. Go.
Bruh. So here's the deal about walleye and perch. One, it depends on how big of an eater you are, and two, it depends on what kind of seasoning you like. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I am equal opportunity carnivore. So like all panfish fall into the category of delicious. Walleye fall into a higher tier category for me because every one that I catch represents 2 meals for me personally. So like I'm automatically much happier, and from a flavor perspective, they're essentially tied because they're both good. I'll tell you right now, my favorite fish to eat and to catch, and it's a no-brainer. Maybe I like tasting them more because they're fun to catch, or maybe I like catching them more because they taste so good, is pike. And everyone gives me crap about this, but I don't understand it. They are delicious. They are delicious. You can pickle them. You can fry them.
They don't want to cut them. They don't want to fillet them, man. That's the problem. That's the problem everybody has.
Hold on. Everyone gets taught how to fillet every other fish. And every other fish fillets the same way. It's like, I'm sorry that you didn't put the effort into figuring out how to fillet a delicious fish. But I'm going to tell you right now, it takes like 5 fish to figure it out. Once you do 5 fish like in a row, it's never going to be a problem for you again. And there are 2 ways to do it. There's where you get like 3 more bites because you like put in a bunch more effort. And then there's like, I can do this in 5 seconds, like faster than I can fillet a regular, I'm using air quotes, every other fish. And you get just as much meat. You just get 2 really long strips of delicious white flaky meat that almost killed you while you caught it. So like, yeah, sign me up for the one that almost kills me and still tastes good.
Facts. Awesome. Good answer. Any tips for getting the Y bone out clean?
Yes, I do have a tip for you. So
we did. Really I'll pause you. I'm going to pause you real quick. We actually videotaped that. I never released it. So promise you guys, we'll do a better version of cleaning some fish on some catch and cook videos coming up. But go ahead if you've got like an audio version of this.
I have an audio version of this. So the Y bones, they sound so complex and they seem like very mystic and very difficult to like remove. Just think of it this way: if you're looking tops down, if you're looking left to right, the left side is like where the head side is, the right side is the tail side. All you have to do is find on the head side where the Y bone starts. So all I do is I take my knife and I just cut somewhere near the middle until I hit a bone from like the tops down, from the top of the fillet down. So now I can just feel, all right, the bones are starting about here. And then do the same thing on the bottom. I keep just slicing the fillet horizontally until I hit the bone. So I know where the top of the Y bone and the bottom of the Y bone are. And then I do not mess around. I don't try and get every little scrap of meat. There's no point. Like your total meat loss on my version of this is like 2 bites. Don't even screw with it. Just where the Y bone starts at the thickest part of the fillet, shove it down at a 45-degree angle and cut the entire middle section out of the fish. and then do the same thing on the top and the same thing on the bottom in a V shape. You just cut a V into the fillet, and now you just have two pieces. You just literally pull that whole V shape that you just cut, you just pull it right off the fish. Yes, you're going to lose a little bit of meat. You're losing like 2 to 3 bites. And guess what? You'll have 0 bones. And guess what? It takes like 5 seconds. That's my strategy. I get way more minute into it depending on the size of the fish. But like if I'm going to teach somebody how to like fillet a pike, and this is impossible to do over like a freaking podcast, but basically I'm cutting a V shape of the middle of the fish. I'm just cutting that whole thing out. I might lose a couple bites, but you know what? I'm not going to have any bones whatsoever, ever. That's my hot tip.
Hot tip. We'll get video on that later, guys. So
Correct.
I'm gonna give you a hot preview of a certain unboxing coming next week if you guys want. Let me know in the comments if you want to see this real quick. But there are, I think, 7 baits in here. Keep in mind, I'm in Michigan. Think about it. It is October 1 in Michigan. If you were in Michigan, would you want to see these baits? I'll start with the best. Start with the best of the best. Right off the top. Oh, Chaz is going to fix my video real quick. So hang tight. 1 second. We're going to switch servers.
And also, while Chaz does that, thank you for asking the question about cleaning fish. Guests that we've had on the podcast, every single one has been like, "Oh, I don't eat fish. I throw every single one back that I get." Like, we all are aware of the fact that the only reason fishing exists for fun was because it initially existed for
food
deliciousness.
Yes.
So let's be clear about that. So thank you for asking that question.
That is a question we asked every time we had a guest on the podcast, and we will have future guests on podcast, by the way, guys. We're just getting used to this whole live thing, and we still have to figure out like Paul's camera and internet and stuff. So once we have that nailed down, then we'll bring on guests and such.
If you guys hear about a person getting jailed from Michigan for an Xfinity murder, it's me. You
just admitted to it on live. Why did you do that?
I'm gonna do it again when I do it.
All right. We're gonna cut that from the from the rest of the video. All right. So here we go, guys. This is my Warrior Tackle Supply Pro Box in a very short edition, and I'll let you know why I just canceled this company and why you should not subscribe to them if you do. I'm gonna go so far. I'm gonna go so far. All right. So first bait, top of the box. Paul, what do you think? Can you see it? What do you think?
The prop frog lunker hunt.
Oh, this is the turtle, my friend.
Or turtle. That's what I meant. Sorry.
That is the prop turtle.
Yeah.
Right up top.
That's the single hook. Yeah. I will tell you right now, I won't use it.
Nope, won't use it either. Second, prop fish. We're just going for those frog baits right now. We're just going. Wait. Time out. I can't get rid of this freaking duck.
I want one.
I gave this duck away.
Dibs.
Yo, guess what? In the video, which I've already recorded and uploaded for next week, I said, guess who gets this duck? You, my friend. You get it. I literally said, you know who deserves this duck? I'm not even going to give this away. Paul's getting this duck.
Hell yes. Dude, I'm going to catch the fish. I'm going to catch like a tarpon on that.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean,
oh, that's brutal.
This was the top of the box, you guys. This is like my October box. Are you, first of all, second of all, you guys seen these before? These things, yeah. So these are the fresh, whatever brand that is, scorpions.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do.
Oh, that's what I said in the video too. They have an infatuation with pink.
Good call.
Everything they send me is pink. All these pink jerk baits back there. Pink scorpions. What the heck? Okay. Sure. Fine. Why not? Then we actually had, well, no, I'll do this one. And then like the only things that I actually cared about in the box, which was 3 baits. Then I got this thing, which Chaz is like, sure, neat. This is like a 6/0 hook. It weighs 1.5 ounces.
Oof.
It is 6 inches long. It is gigantic. I never throw baits this big. I never do. And if I do, Chaz says this looks terrible. So even Chaz is like, I'm not gonna throw this thing. Are you freaking kidding me?
Who makes that? Who makes that?
Oh, for sure. There's a guess who makes it, Paul? You can guess.
Lunker Hunt would have been my guess.
Nope. Second guess.
Chase?
Anybody know in the comments
Weston.
who makes this?
Weston.
Nope.
Dang it.
Come on. It's on the tip of your tongue, guys. I know you know this.
Hook me up.
Live freaking target.
Gosh darn it.
Come on. Come on. Live target. You're going to throw me a live target.
I feel like,
by the way, guys,
I was in middle school and like the math teacher was like, tell me the answer to this question. I was like, 4, 5, 6.
Yes. I don't know. Tell me the answer. Teach.
You tell me you're supposed to teach me, loser.
You're supposed to teach me. I'm not teaching here. Oh my gosh. Fishing the Southeast guessed it. There you go. Nice job, buddy. So keep in mind, guys, this is the most expensive box as far as normal subscription boxes you can get. This is $42.99.
You need to finish this, and I need to provide some perspective. So hit me with the rest
okay.
of the bait.
This one I actually thought was decent. So this is from Fish Head. This is from Fish Head. These, I thought these were like a shutter bait style thing, but it's actually a weed guard, they say. Kind of. Anyways, chartreuse jig. Fish Head chartreuse jig. 2 of them. Got 2. Then this one's nifty. Interested in this. Look at that.
Oh.
Look at that freaking tail.
Dude, right in my alley.
The thing's an ounce. That is 1 ounce. That is a heavy freaking jig. This is, you guys can't really see it. There's it's not even EWG. There's a straight shank freaking hook on this thing. Straight shank.
I don't hate it.
With all this gosh dang hair and streamer on it.
I kind
of course you don't hate it.
It's 1 ounce.
No, barely. I can barely cast this. I probably can't cast this. Even with I have a Dobbins Fury Magnum heavy rod. I can barely cast this. And at any rate, it's not even worth casting on this because I can't even fish it the way it's supposed to be fished. So can't use.
All right.
Will use.
Is that the box?
Be frustrated.
Is that the box?
Nope. The only good bait in the box, bro. And here's why. You guys are gonna love this. You guys are gonna love this. Because guess what? Guess who learned things? Guess who learned from running this dang channel? Jokes out of the box. Guess what this is? Speed worm.
Oh.
You know what you're supposed to do? You know what you're supposed to do, Paul?
No.
You want me to tell you? You want me to introduce you guys to this thing? Guess what?
Hey,
you rip that part.
Tail tear. Okay.
You tear the tail, you guys. You tear the friggin' tail. Obviously, everyone knows that. And then it's a speed worm. There you go. So that is my Warrior Tackle Supply, WTS, aka WTF. And that's the box for the month. And I just canceled them. Goodbye.
Can I go ahead and I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Is that okay?
Yes. Yep. Proceed.
All right. Warrior Tackle. You put them in perspective of the marketplace. They are a small supplier of tackle box, correct?
Yes.
They're not a huge company, is basically what I'm saying. They're not a huge company. So there's a couple of things that they do not have that would allow them to put out a massively successful box to you. One of which is they don't have a huge subscriber base. So when they approach Live Target and they say, I would like to buy some baits, Live Target's like, sweet, I like it when people buy my baits. How many do you want? They go 12. They're like, oh, well, I was thinking more like 5.
Man.
I was thinking more like 5,000. And Warrior Tackle Supply's like, fine, let's deal. I'll buy 100. And they're like, yeah, I was thinking more like 10,000. And this is how, that's one problem that they have. The second problem that they have is there's this thing happening right now. It's a pandemic.
Never heard of it.
The pandemic has caused a lot of folks to go buy a crap ton of fishing gear, a crap ton of fishing lures. If you go to your local, or you go to your Dick's, or you go to your local supply shop, wherever you buy your tackle in person or online, look at the stock. Jeff, what did the stock look like at Cabela's when you went there for reels about 4 weeks ago?
No, 2 days ago. 2 days ago, there's still nothing. There's still nothing.
There were like 7 reels.
Guess where they are? Guess where they are, guys? Amazon. They're on Amazon. Yeah. That's the only place you can get them right now.
And so it's
honestly.
So there's a supply chain problem. A lot of these products have unique raw materials. So it takes unique raw materials to make a reel. It takes unique raw materials to make a lot of these baits. So the plastic is specific to the bait. The ink that they color, the plastic is specific to the bait, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when someone like Warrior Tackle, who doesn't have a huge subscriber base and is only going to buy a couple thousand baits, is going up against all the other tackle bait companies that are out there, all the other retailers that are out there, they're Amazons of the world. They do not have the ability to just like go whatever they want. So I'm not saying that their choices were great, because they were not good. I will say that they are trying to start a new business, and they are doing so in a time where they do not have the ability to just go grab whatever they want off the shelf at a price that makes sense. That's all I'm saying.
Yo, Construction Steve, don't do that. He just said, all right, Paul, fine, you win. I'll cancel my first Monster Bass box and get Jeff's Warrior Tackle Supply box.
I'm not saying do that. All I'm saying
don't do that.
Let's say you're looking at this box and you're like, how in the F did they get to this point? I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know how in the F they got to this point. Tell me why some of the baits, great example, the multi-pack of hooks from Eagle Claw, how does that end up in a box? A huge
are you talking about? No, that was the bass kit. I haven't put that video out yet. What are you doing spoiling stuff?
Good. Come on, man.
What are you doing? I haven't had. Go ahead. Oh, Chaz says he got it.
Yeah.
But were they the ones that I got? Like the little feather lights, the half-aughts, the little EWGs? Because those are kind of sweet. As much as I'd like to say, meh. Oh, no, they're not. Oh, no. What are those?
So that's what I'm
Is that a straight shank?
If you get a straight shank offset hook and Tackle Box X,
exactly,
shall maybe remain nameless, is counting that as a bait and not as a giveaway essentially in the box. There's a reason they're doing that. It's because right now they probably had a bait that they paid upfront for, or at least down paid for. And guess what? Someone came in after the fact and was like, yo, those lifted jig whatevers, or yo, that, swim bait from whoever, you're not getting that because I sold to someone else for more money because they wanted it more, and I only have X amount of inventory. Bye-bye, have a nice day, go pound sand. There's nothing you can do about it. So I'm not saying that Warrior Tackle is somebody that makes great choices. They did not make great choices. There's another box that you got where it was discounted baits, and it was like off color. It was off-season color, but it was the right type of bait. There's definitely an opportunity there. But all I'm saying is not every single startup right now specifically has the ability to just go get whatever they want. So I'm just saying they probably have a limited menu.
So I get your devil's advocate, but still, like Heather just said in the comments, they're still throwing trash in a box.
Yep.
Like
I'm not gonna.
It is hard in slim pickings, but there are definitely better slim pickings. And Chaz is showing me on camera the tiniest little straight shank hooks that he got in his MTB. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's even worse.
I just
It was an 18 pack? Oh my gosh. 6 of the tiny shanks and 6
offset.
what is that, like a less
It's
than a
offset.
half-aught offset worm hook?
It's a 1/0.
Oh my gosh. No, it's not. There's no way.
That's a 1/0
There's no
offset.
way.
It is.
That is a half. That is a quarter-aught.
Yeah, it's not ideal. I just,
Oh
you
my
know,
gosh. All right.
I'm
So
not saying
I get
I'm
what
not
you're saying, man.
yeah.
I
I just
hear
wanna make
you.
that I just wanna make the case. I just wanna make the case because
Yep.
Jeff, you know what it's like to start a new business. This is not somebody who's
Mhm.
been around for an eternity. They're not in a place where they have Rick Patry, who knows the industry, who could just be like,
Everyone in the world.
bruh, just gonna, we don't know what to do this month. I'll just go call the guys from Lunker Hunt and we'll just go ahead and make a killer summer box. Like, they don't have
Yeah.
that clout. And so, yeah, you know,
See,
no, would I buy this box?
but
Would I buy this box? Absolutely not.
exactly.
So don't get it twisted. But what I will say is it's probably a couple of dudes. It's probably a couple of dudes
Sure.
just trying to get product out the door, which is why you got the same shitty jerk bait 2 times. I'm just saying.
But I'm going to echo Rashai John here. Just mentioned to cancel, you have to email them. They have no cancellation button. They have a my account button. They have a my account section. No cancellation option. I would say things they could do better. First of all, they're way priced out. Way priced out. Too expensive. Does not make sense. $42.99 for a box like that? No, thank you. Not going to happen. Doesn't make sense at all. They're way priced out of their range. They should opt for smaller, more unique boxes. If they can't handle the supply chain, they should be doing 4 or 6 baits. They should do a cheaper box. They should do one that has effective baits in general, just generalized effective baits. If they want to start a box, I think they could do that. They could do a better job on their social media and they could do a better job essentially just marketing in that way and connecting right now. They should be connecting with these brands. They should be building up slowly. They have scaled up too fast. Their pants are too big and they are not ready for them. And that is the mistake that they've made. They have a $42.99 box full of clearance baits. That's BS, man. That's BS. That's garbage.
Yeah.
That's nonsense. That doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. They grew too big and too fast for who they think they are, and they are not that. So that's the problem I have with them. Obviously, I'm a little bit passionate about it because I got these boxes for 3 months, and every single month has been garbage. Every single month was garbage. Not one good box. So I was like, peace, I'm out. Big time cancellation. See you later. And I mean, I've gotten bad boxes from other companies before. I've never been this passionate about canceling. So just a heads up, guys. If you want to get out, email them, get out. But I'm just saying for other companies kind of up and coming, I get it. 100%. My day job is mentoring gym owners. Do you guys want to know what it's like owning a gym right now? It's terrible. So that said, you can still make it happen by making smart decisions. And I just got to say, like WTS has not made good decisions. Like they upscaled way too fast for what they're trying to do. They're trying to be MTB and Monster Bass, and like it doesn't make sense. Yeah, and Chaz is saying they're making their own baits already. Like they immediately jump to house baits. Okay, I get it. I get it. But your house baits are trash. They are not good. And you're sending the wrong baits at the wrong times of year for anyone. It's just kind of ridiculous. So now you got a guy like me up on a soapbox that has no business being on a soapbox, but like that's how I feel about it. So I don't know how you guys feel about it, but you've seen me unbox them and fish them. And it's just like, dude, it doesn't make sense. They should have started way smaller. They should have been happy being small. Be happy being small. And then grow big when it makes sense, like not 2020 when it doesn't make sense. Nobody's growing right now. You should just survive 2020. And in 2021, let's talk about growing. But it does not make sense right now. And the problem I have is just that they are the most expensive box right now, like on the market for what they are. And it does not make sense at all, like at all. 2 cents. Soapbox kicked away. Done. Sorry. There's my unboxing. Full video coming next week on YouTube. So you guys want to see my first reaction opening this box? It wasn't good. So there you go.
So I that's what I had for this episode. We're like freaking 2 hours in. I will leave you with a parting question. First of all, thank you for joining us live. Thank you for being a friend of the show. But legit, we're kind of planning out what fall and winter are going to look like. Let us know what you want to see. I don't care what the answer is. The idea for us is to show you what you want, fishing related or otherwise. Save the shotgunning a beer. We'll probably end up doing that anyways. So just keep watching. But legit, whatever it is.
Ice fishing is essentially just drinking whiskey on the ice. It's just taking this out on the ice. Just saying, well, hope we catch some fish.
We had some folks who reached out and asked us to do like a live edition while we're out on a trip. I think that's a good idea. But legit, like, let us know what it is that you want to see. We'll do our best to try and give you what you want. So send us your ideas. Instagram, comments on YouTube, comments on the channel or on the podcast. Whatever it is that you want to see, let us know, and we'll try and do our best.
Yeah, or email us, info@burlyfishing.com.
Yep.
And we respond to all of those. So yeah, we appreciate you guys very much. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Of course, if you guys were dropping by for your first time tonight, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We go live every single Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and on Twitch. And I just noticed I haven't checked Twitch at all. Oh, look, we're still working on Twitch. So YouTube is where we live most of the time. But if you guys want to drop by, hang out with us, and pop into chat and talk to us, that's what we do. I enjoy this. I love interacting with you guys. I think it's fantastic. And definitely interested to hear some of your ideas for the upcoming season. I think it'll help me out a lot as far as content. I really just want to make stuff that, both I enjoy, but also you guys want to watch. I'm not making this channel just for me. I'm making it for you guys too. So let me know what you want to see, and we'll definitely make that happen. Oh, Andy Remy says, anything kayak related. There you go. But he'd watch us do anything. Well, hang on. He'd watch anything we make. All right. Anyways. All right, guys. So that's all we got for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. And hey, we're gonna make some cool content upcoming months and try to have fun with you guys. We'll keep doing these live broadcasts, and hey, maybe we'll do like a camping one, Instagram live. So make sure you follow us both on Instagram. Again, it's @BurlyFishing, @Paul_J_Glass, and anywhere else that we do stuff on social media right now. You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out tonight. We'll see you next time.